This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better. Hey everybody, Kevin Trudeau here. Thanks for joining me. This is the Kevin Trudeau Show, broadcasting from a secret undisclosed location someplace in the world. Let's hope today's broadcast will actually not be interrupted by our friends at the government. All right, so this is kind of a special broadcast because I got to give you some inside information about what's going on. The key word is censorship. We know that various platforms routinely censor. They censor speakers, they censor content, they suppress the free flow of information. This is happening all across the internet. It's not being done by the big corporations like you think. It's actually being done by the government. In my particular case, the government categorically wants to stop me from exposing things that they don't want exposed. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am Kevin Trudeau, and you're not. Once upon a time, I was a member of an ultra-secret society called the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood is senior to the secret societies that aren't so secret. People have heard about them. Yale University's Skull and Bones, the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, Bohemian Grove, and there are others. I've been talking about this for 20 years. I talk about them in all my books. I've talked about them when I was interviewed by Alex Jones, interviewed by various people that are now on podcasts. Back then it was radio shows. When I was on television, many of the interviews I did were cut and censored and actually taken. You can't even find them anymore. When I was on Fox News, when I was on the Today Show with Matt Lauer, when I was on the early morning show on CBS and ABC, CNN with Paul Azan, the interviews I did for the Wall Street Journal when I was on the front page of the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and the Sydney Times, London Times, Los Angeles Times, Boston Globe, Boston Herald, Chicago Sun Times, Chicago Tribune, the list goes on. Many of these interviews were just censored. All the information was cut out. When I wrote the book, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, I exposed how there's an unholy alliance between the pharmaceutical industry, the food industry, and the government. And they're working together effectively to keep you sick. When I left the Brotherhood, all hell broke loose. And many senior people there were behind me, secretly, behind the scenes, and they told me that all hell is going to break loose. And it did. And I've been attacked by the federal government in the United States, some governments around the world as well. All because I sell books and informational publications exposing things that the government doesn't want exposed. And what doesn't the government want exposed? They don't want the pharmaceutical companies exposed, the food industry exposed, and they don't want, most importantly, quite frankly, they don't want exposed how the secret societies control all of the governments. There was just a show that was broadcast on YouTube talking about the Bilderberg Group, and it was a pretty good show. And it exposed how most of the politicians who were the prime ministers of European countries were nobodies. And then they came to a Bilderberg meeting, and then all of a sudden they became prime minister. Tony Blair became prime minister of the UK. Before that, Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel in Germany, and other major politicians around Europe. They're all Bilderberg-controlled people. In the United States, Barack Obama was a first-term senator whose biggest business, was running a community center, I think in Chicago, or a community activist. And all of a sudden he went to a Bilderberg meeting and became president. Before that, there was a guy named Bill Clinton, governor of Arkansas, went to a Bilderberg meeting, got blessed, and became president. This is why the saying goes, presidents are not elected, they're selected. And this is why there is such vitriol against President Trump, because he was outside of that group. He was not selected at all. He's not part of that group, completely outside of it all, and actually won the election, the first election. And of course, there's arguments about whether or not he won the second election. The mainstream media is very clear that he lost, and we are not going to talk about that on this show. But I've exposed things that the government doesn't want exposed. The big difference between any of the shows you watch that describe Bohemian Grove or Skull and Bones or Trilateral Commission or Council on Foreign Relations or Bilderberg, even though many of those shows give really good information, they're sharing information that they know about, not that they know. None of those people have actually been at a Bilderberg meeting. I've been at several. None of them people have been at Yale University Skull and Bones. I've never been a member of Yale University Skull and Bones because I never went to Yale. I was never inducted, but I was one of the few people that were actually in the Tomb, which is the headquarters of Skull and Bones at Yale University, and on Skull and Bones Island, because I was a senior member in the Brotherhood. I've been to Bohemian Grove. I've been to meetings at the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission. So I know, not just know about, how these organizations work. This is why I have been attacked so violently. In the last week, actually in the last few months, I've been broadcasting this show, and I've been saying that I'm coming out with books next year, a brand new natural cures book, a book called The Vitamin Scam, a book called The Organic Scam, both exposing how you're being ripped off by your vitamins that you're buying and how you're being ripped off by organics and how that works. I'm also coming out with a new book called Your Wish is Your Command, How to Manifest Your Desires. So those books are planned to come out next year. And in doing so, the government has gone crazy. They're doing things right now, trying to get me to shut down everything and stop all of my dissemination of information. Don't worry, because this is a good thing. Everything works together for good. That's a scriptural principle. It's actually, for those of you who follow the Christian tradition, that is in the Bible. It doesn't say everything is good. It says everything works for good for those that love and serve the Lord. In other words, if you're in alignment spiritually with the universe, everything will always work out for good, the ultimate good. Sometimes we don't understand how the ways and the methods are, but that's okay. Everything is working out perfectly. I can just tell you that. I can't tell you everything, but I can tell you that. We've put together a team of lawyers that are working right now very diligently to make sure that everything is going to work out perfectly, and it will, regardless of how it may seem in the short term. If you look at some of the cases that are going on right now in the courts, and I'll use President Trump, and whether or not you hate President Trump or if you like President Trump, it doesn't really matter. But here's a guy who, for the first time in history, a president, after they left office, has been charged with crimes, real crimes, both federally and in states. He's got all these cases against him. The government is spending hundreds of millions of dollars trying to prosecute President Trump. They call this the weaponization of the justice system, and it's true. It's been done all over the world. Anytime there's a political opponent, the political party uses the Justice Department to investigate, to charge with crimes the political opponents, to jail them, to discredit them. it's common, it's done in the U.S. It's been done with congressmen, it's been done with senators, and now it's being done with the president. It's just the way the world works. We can't be shocked and think that we're going to change that. That's how it works. And then there are people out there, and there's a lot of people out there that are on the internet that have been saying things that have been violently attacked. Whether you like Julian Assange, whether you're not, look what happened to him. I mean, this guy had WikiLeaks, and as a journalist, got information. He didn't steal any information. He was provided information from somebody and published it. And he was attacked and vilified. And what did he publish? Oh, he published secret documents that were stolen by this guy, Snowden. Okay, that's fine. But why was the government so upset? Not that there were secrets disclosed that put national security at risk. The government was upset because there were secrets exposed that showed how evil the government actions were. The people, I should say, in the government. That they were lying to the American public about a whole host of things and committing crimes themselves. That's why the government got upset that Julian Assange published the information, because it exposed the crimes that the U.S. government was involved with. That's really what it came down to. And this goes on and on and on. But at the end of the day, you look at Trump, and he lost, he got convicted, he gets this fine and that fine, and a $600 million or $500 million fine that he has to pay. And he continues to fight, and then went to the Supreme Court, and now he wins this immunity case, which I talked about in this show many, many months ago. And he won that case. People are shocked and amazed. Look, everything works together for good. So things are going to work out for me. There's no issue. We're going to be broadcasting this show. Hopefully it won't be interrupted. But the government is trying and has been trying to discredit me. And for those who don't know the story, I'm going to give you the quick, short version of the story. My life was great. I was a member of the Brotherhood, making millions and millions of dollars every month. Rolls Royces, Ferraris, Bentleys, Mercedes, Porsches, mega mansions all around the world, private jets, private yachts, chefs, bodyguards, staying in the best suites in the world, custom-made clothes, millions of dollars worth of jewelry. I had it all. I was in the presence of prime ministers. I was in royalty and their homes, palaces around the world, presidents, generals, secretaries of state, major billionaires, all over the world. This was a good life. Traveled on the Concorde, I think, 20-something times. I was with Henry Kissinger one time on the Concorde. You saw pictures of me traveling with President Gorbachev. Many celebrities in Hollywood. I've been to their homes for dinner. Okay, it was a good life. And I worked with the Brotherhood, which worked with Bilderberg. And I saw how the inner workings of the world actually work, about how things are controlled and who controls them and why they're controlled and how politicians are controlled. And most importantly, how you are being lied to and misled. And around the world, in most countries, the quality of life and standard of living is diminishing, and you don't even realize it. In some countries, the standard of living and quality of life is going up. Wars rage. Why do they rage? I've been there in the meetings where they're saying, we're going to do this. The media is 100% controlled by the Bilderberg Group. We know this. Why? When you get the Bilderberg Group together, and for those of you who don't know anything about the Bilderberg Group, this is a group of the most powerful people on the planet. There's more billionaires there. There's more CEOs of major international corporations. There's the presidents of the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, presidents of countries, prime ministers of countries, secretaries of state. These are also many of them are members of the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations and Bohemian Grove. They're all interrelated, and Skull and Bones, of course. This group gets together, many of the media CEOs of the major media networks around the world, the BBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, they're there. This should be front page news on every newspaper in the world, that never before in history are these powerful people meeting, so many of them at one time, to discuss secrets that they're not revealing. Why are they getting together? This is the biggest meeting on the planet ever, and it goes on every single year. But it's never mentioned in any newspaper, and it's never mentioned on any news broadcast or any radio show. Why? Journalists clearly know about it. You can see pictures of the meetings, of the people getting out of the Mercedes and the various limousines going into the meeting. You can see them all. There are independent people, Alex Jones, for example, and others, that go and film this stuff, and you can see it. How come this isn't mentioned in any news organization anywhere in the world? Because the news organizations are controlled by the people at Bilderberg, and they don't want this information out. If you don't believe that the news media is completely controlled and everything that's being presented is completely controlled, and some of you think, well, there are independent journalists. Okay, well, how come there's no independent journalists at ABC, NBC, BBC, or any of the news organizations around the world that are writing stories about the Bilderberg meeting? Because even if they do, it's not being broadcast. It's not being published in any news outlet. None of the mainstream media will talk about it, because the people that control the mainstream media are at the Bilderberg meeting, and they said, we're keeping this a secret. We're not mentioning it. It's as if it never existed. You're looking at it with your own eyes. You can see the pictures. You can see everybody there. There's no mystery. It's not like, oh, do aliens exist? You're looking at all these people coming out of their Mercedes going into the meeting. It's happening. You can count them all, the dozens of people. You can see all of them. You can see the CEO of all the major international petrochemical companies, the World Bank. You can see the presidents, the prime ministers, the members of royal families. You can see everybody there. It's obviously happening. And when you ask somebody, what about this? They go, what are you talking about? What meeting are you talking about? Well, here are the pictures. No, I have nothing to say about that. They just refuse to even acknowledge that they even went to the meeting, that a meeting even existed. So this is how everything is controlled, 100%. So I was living a very good life. And then I decided to leave the Brotherhood. I decided to reveal to the general population how the world really works, because this will take people out of their trance, raise their level of consciousness and awareness, increase their compassion and love, and make them more powerful and more at cause over their environment. I also wanted to reveal how these people manifest things so easily by using the power of their mind. There is specific training, there are specific techniques that they use to manifest things in the physical reality. We talked about the hippocampus. We talked about broadcasting in theta, or in that range in between alpha and theta, and how to use gamma in the brain, which is what they've been trained how to do, and the average person hasn't. They broadcast on a wealth wave. You broadcast on a poverty brainwave. I decided, with many other people in this organization, felt this was also a good idea, that the average person needed to have this information. Information such as why drugs are being pushed on us so much by the drug companies, and what's in our food supply to numb us down, to reduce our consciousness, to reduce our level of awareness, reduce our drive and motivation. And when I decided to leave, that's when all hell broke loose. And the general modus operandi is first discredit the person. So immediately when I left, by the way, when I was in the Brotherhood, I was being groomed also for politics in the United States, senator, and potentially presidential run. When I left, the first thing was we need to make sure he doesn't get into politics. So I was immediately attacked by the government with fraudulent charges to reduce my credibility so that if I ever tried to run for office, it wouldn't work. Okay, we'll put that in a win column for them. I did nothing wrong ever. False allegations, false charges. They threatened to put my parents in prison. I'm not telling you the whole story, just a little bit. I continued to do what I was destined to do, to reveal this information to you. And I remember I was in court. I was taken in. I can't tell you the whole story, but I was basically told by very powerful people in the court and the government, if you continue to go down this path, Kevin, we're going to continue to come after you until you stop talking. And they offered me a lot of money. I said no, and I continued. And I wrote books such as Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, exposing the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry and how it works together with the government. On and on and on. The first book I came out with was Mega Memory, and I exposed how the U.S. Department of Education was numbing down the kids, getting everybody on Ritalin to numb down the kids, pushing those drugs on our children, and how they were taking phonics out of the school. And I continued. Then I wrote a book. After Natural Cures, they went crazy. That was the book that really was the tipping point. It became the #1 best-selling book in all of America the year it came out, the #1 best-selling health book of all time, because I exposed the fact that nobody wanted to talk about. Drug companies are only in business to sell drugs. They are not in business to cure or prevent disease. They don't want healthy people because healthy people don't buy drugs. All they want to do is get more people taking more drugs every day for the rest of their life. They don't want to cure and prevent disease. These are publicly traded companies who have a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders to increase shareholder value, to increase sales and sell more drugs. They do not have an interest in curing or preventing disease. They want to treat symptoms by getting you to buy more and more drugs and take more and more drugs. And when I exposed this, all hell broke loose. So I got sued for contempt of court. The government said I must stop talking about my books on TV. They said I was misleading people with my words, that my books were misleading, and that everybody who bought the books were being ripped off. Although people loved the books and recommended them to others. And they were #1 New York Times bestsellers or New York Times bestsellers for many, many months. My book sold almost 100 million copies around the world. Then they put me in prison. They gave me a 10-year sentence for contempt of court, which is not a felony and not even a misdemeanor. My lawyers tell me that it's something called sus juriditis, and I could be pronouncing it wrong. It's some Latin word which means a thing of its own, called contempt of court. I was given the longest sentence in the history of the United States for contempt of court, which is effectively not a crime, in my opinion. And I served my time. And now I came out. They thought it was over. And here I am. The government had said they have 30 lawyers, 30, working against me. That's what they said in court. I'm not sure how many are working full time, but they said in court, I want to thank the 30 lawyers that have been working on this Trudeau case for a decade, over a decade, many, many decades. Isn't that amazing? They're probably spending hundreds of millions of dollars to silence me. This should wake you all up. Don't trust any government around the world. They're not telling you the truth. Don't trust the media. They're not telling you the truth. They're trying to suppress the free flow of information. And here we are. So most recently, the government has now continued their attacks trying to stop me every way they can. They're not going to win. They're not going to win. So I am here, and I'm going to continue to be here. And even if something goes sideways, no worries whatsoever. All things always work together for good, even if you don't understand why or how. But I am here. I have great lawyers, and I'm on the right side of the law, and I'm on the right side of ethics. I'm on the right side of morality, and I'm on the right side for you. So thank you for your support. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for sharing the show and subscribing to the show and liking the videos and leaving your comments. The best is yet to come. And I want to just share something with you to explain how censorship is working. An article just came out which should scare everyone around the world, because America has something called the First Amendment, which is supposed to protect free speech. We are supposed to be able to express our opinions and ideas without the fear of the government challenging what we say, even if they disagree with it. And that's not happening today. The United States government and governments around the world, just happened in the UK too, and other governments, if somebody says something that the government disagrees with, this is like Nazi Germany. If you say something that the government disagrees with, that goes against the party line, that goes against what the government position is, they now will attack you for misinformation. What happened to free speech? Don't we have a right to share opinions? You may disagree with that opinion, but don't I have a right and other people have a right to share opinions? There are people that have different opinions than me. They should have a right to express that. They should have a right to put that in a book and sell that. They should have a right to talk about it on the internet. Utah outlaws books in first statewide ban. State has ordered books by 13 authors to be removed from every public school, classroom, and library. Books are now being banned in the United States of America. And what are they doing with these books? They're burning them. In the United States of America, just like in Nazi Germany, books are now not only being banned, but being burned. And this is what the government did to my books. When they took over, when I went to prison, they came in and they destroyed the warehouses I had with my books. They destroyed them. They're afraid of information. They're afraid of you being educated. They're afraid of you thinking for yourself. They're afraid of you awakening, of coming out of your trance, of expressing self-determinism and being a cause of your environment. They're afraid of you coming back with your enthusiasm and drive and inspiration and motivation. They're afraid of you thinking for yourself. They want to control you 100%. But no fear. There's nothing to fear. Just awaken. And when you awaken, everything in time will work out fine. There's an old saying that says, everything will be fine in the end. And if it's not fine, it just means it's not the end. So have no fear. Everything is working out fine. Now, with that said, I have right now outstanding legal bills of over $800,000. That's what I owe my lawyers. My lawyers anticipate that the monthly ongoing bills to fight the government is going to run around $100,000 a month. In order for my lawyers to put together the legal team, and we've been working all weekend, to fight the Federal Trade Commission and the U.S. government, I need your help. I am allowed, under a court order, to live on only $3,750 a month. That's all I can live on. Every other dollar that comes in after business expenses are paid has to go to the U.S. government. I know it's shocking, but that's the order. Seems illegal, seems unconstitutional. We can talk about that. But that's what the order is. The judge did allow me, after much fighting, to form a legal defense fund and take contributions from people so that my lawyers can be paid. I need your help. I need to pay the lawyers. I need to get them paid. I'm going to encourage you to go to ktlegalfund.com. The website is on the screen. And make a contribution of any amount. I don't care if it's $5 or $10, if you can give $100 or $1,000, $10,000. There are a lot of opportunities there for people who make contributions. For example, if you make a $15,000 contribution, you can spend a whole week with me at the Golden Door Spa next year. There are other opportunities. If you make a $5,000 contribution, I will do a live one-on-one Zoom with you. Consultation, energy work, talk to you, thank you. You can ask me questions, consulting, mentoring. People love that, and the response has been spectacular. If you can set yourself up on a monthly contribution, we can automatically charge your credit card for a certain amount that you'd like to make. That's significant. This will keep the lawyers working. So any amount you can make a contribution to, please go to ktlegalfund.com and make a contribution. Secondly, the government is looking at the Kevin Trudeau fan club. And I'm going to be in court soon. And I know they're going to ask me, how many partners do you have in the fan club? All the money that comes in through the partner program or any contribution made to the fan club pays the expenses first and then goes to the government. The government is saying, I am not paying fast enough, so I need your help. And by the way, you know what the government's saying? Because I'm not paying fast enough, they want to put me back in prison to force me to pay faster. Well, if I go back to prison, I can't pay anything. So we're fighting this, and we're going to win. Don't worry. We have an excellent judge who I believe is completely independent. He's incredibly intelligent. He's thinking this through very, very well. And he is very fair. He sees the Federal Trade Commission and the government's position, and he understands their position, and so do I in many cases. I understand where they're coming from, and he understands mine. He's fair. He's an excellent judge. He's the perfect person to be a judge because he's an independent arbiter of the facts. He's just a referee. He's just looking at both sides, and he's not taking a position on one side or the other, and he has no personal vendetta against me or the government. He's fair. He's unbiased. He's excellent. And good things are going to happen. You watch. But if you're not a partner, please consider going to the ktfanclub.com website and signing up as a partner. It's only $25 a month. If you can make a $50 a month contribution or $100, there are more benefits at each level. You can look at that, sign up. Or if you can make a one-time contribution of any amount to the fan club, I know that when I go to court, that the judge will probably say, how many partners do you have? How many partners do you have at $25 a month? How many partners do you have at $50 a month? How many partners at $100? And the more partners that sign up in the next few days, when I show this to the judge, I can tell him, look, if you let me continue to do what I'm doing, you can see the money's coming in. It's going right to pay the government. I'll pay this debt faster than if you take some negative action against me. So again, consider that as well. Look, this is not for me. I don't really care. Why? Because I know this stuff. I'm sharing information with you to help you. I don't make any money from this. I live on $3,750 a month. That's all. I'm working for free, but I'm working for you because it's a mission and it's a purpose. It's my dharma. I also see the thousands of letters that I get, different types of correspondence, whether it's emails or letters or telegram messages, from people who say how their life is positively impacted and changed for the better in massive ways because of the information that I'm sharing. I'm doing this for you. And look, I want to continue to do it for you, but if I'm not, it doesn't affect me whatsoever. It really doesn't matter to me. If they say shut it all down, I'll shut it all down. If they say you need to go back for another 6 months or 2 years, I don't mind. It's not my ideal preference, but look, my inner state's not going to change based on external situations. There's no fear, there's no worry, there's no issue. And I'm also not attached to a particular outcome. I know that everything always works out perfect in the end. And some people say, hey, Kevin, how come you just can't manifest all this money using the power to manifest? The universe, or God, works through people. I can't wave a magic wand and have money just appear in front of me. Business and money flows through individual people. The universe works through people. You are being given an opportunity to activate the law of attraction in your life and activate the powerful law of giving. This situation, which may seem like a negative situation, is actually an opportunity for you. You see, there's no problems in life. There are only challenges, situations, and mostly opportunities. In every adversity that you face, there are the seeds of a greater benefit. In every adversity, there are the seeds of a greater benefit. This is why John D. Rockefeller said, there is no adversity in my life. There are only blessings. Because anytime something happens that it looks negative, or it looks like a problem, or if it looks like a challenge, or if it looks like adversity, or if it looks negative, I know it's not. It's actually a blessing. And if I unpack it, there is a gift from the universe being given me. My adversity is giving an opportunity for you to reach out, give, whether through the partner program or the legal defense fund, and activate the law of giving in your life to connect with me and reap the benefits from the universe. This is how the universe always works. It works through people. And this is how you manifest. When you put desires out into the universe for whatever you want, people come into your life. Situations, events, circumstances, conditions, but mostly people. Your manifestation comes through people because God works through people. He's working through you. And many of you may feel that or think that or get some, oh, that's what that calling is. It's the opportunity that's being given to you. It's a gift being given to you. This has happened in my life many times. I remember I had a friend of mine, a very close friend, and he was in a real estate business in Florida. And something happened, and his wife called frantic. And he said, Kevin, Arnie was put in prison. He was put in jail and arrested. He was charged with fraud for his real estate business. And he's innocent. He did nothing wrong. I go, what's the bail? The bail is $250,000, and we don't have the cash. I don't have that much equity in the house. I don't know what to do. I was given an opportunity. I was given an opportunity to give. His adversity, his challenge, his need created a blessing for me. And I said, Karen, I'll take care of it. And I posted the $250 bond in cash. I was blessed at the time I had the cash. And it was my pleasure to put that up. And I didn't know if I would ever get it back. It didn't matter to me because I knew the universe presented me an opportunity to reach out in faith and plant the seed. He won his case. Everything was dropped. And when he met me after his case and he gave me that money back, he was in tears. And he said, I thought I had a lot of friends. You were the only one who stepped up. How do you think I felt? Wonderful. It didn't matter to me about getting the money back. I saved somebody. What a blessing. I received the blessing more than he did because of my giving. That's how the universe works. I remember one time I had a friend of mine who was in a desperate need. His mother had a problem, mismanaged the money. He waited to the very last second, and they were about to repossess the house. And he was in tears. Mom, old lady, widow, losing the house. He didn't have the money. I said, why'd you wait so long? We thought it would work out. What he was doing was he was burying his head in the sand, and he didn't want to confront his challenge. I said, how much is it to bring it current? The money was about $120,000. I was lucky. I had been blessed. I happened to have the cash, but guess what? I looked at my accounts, and it was virtually every penny I had. And I said, I have just enough. I emptied out all of my accounts, my checking account, my savings accounts, and I remember I kept $5 in each account, and it came out almost to the penny, the exact amount that he needed. It left me penniless, and I gave him that money so he could not have his mother go on the streets. I knew I'd probably never see that money ever again. But I knew I was planting a seed into the universe. The universe provided me an opportunity to exercise my faith and trust in the universe and trust that my giving would come back to me. Scripturally, it says, give and it will come back to you 100-fold. And it did. Within a week after I did that, I'll never forget this. Within a week after I did that, we got a phone call at our office from a major corporation that said, I was in the memory training business at the time, that said, we've heard about your memory training. Several of our executives have taken the course, we didn't know this, over the last few months. We've been having meetings, and we would like to hire your firm under a 1-year contract to do memory training. We'd like to meet with you tomorrow to discuss the contract. I met with them. It was over a $2 million contract. And the check that they paid up front, $500,000. Do you think tears didn't come to my eyes? Actually, tears didn't come to my eyes. I expected a miracle. I knew it was coming. That's how the universe works. It works through people. Think about that. So consider ktlegaldefensefund.com to make a contribution there so I can pay the lawyers. Consider becoming a partner or making a one-time contribution at the KevinTrudeauFanClub.com. A lot of blessings, a lot of wonderful opportunities. Now, I want to talk about something fun because they cut us off the last show. I don't even know how much you got. I was talking about coffee and health, and I'm going to talk about some health things today. And the reason I'm talking about health things is this is one of the things that they don't want you to know about. They hate it when I talk about health. So that's where I'm going. And the next show I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be talking more about the Bilderberg Group. I'm going to be going right into the mouth of the lion. Fearless, baby, because this is what you need to know. Okay, so I talked a lot about coffee the last show. I think. I don't know how much got cut off. But I started to talk about coffee and about caffeine, particularly caffeine in the coffee. So here's a health tip. So now Kevin Trudeau, health expert. I don't have my little nameplates here, but I'm Kevin Trudeau, health expert right now. Coffee. When you drink coffee, now listen, guys and girls, pay attention and listen. Coffee is good. I talked about before the things you have to do to make sure you have good coffee, organic coffee, ideally. I talked about the coffee beans. I'm going to give a whole lecture one time on exactly how to make the perfect cup of coffee, but not now. But let's say you just make coffee, make sure you have good water, filtered water. You have your coffee. The problem is, I mentioned in the last show, when you drink your coffee in the morning on an empty stomach, the tannic acid in the coffee mixes with the hydrochloric acid, and it basically makes cement and it lines your stomach. This prevents your ability to absorb protein. Now pay attention, because I have a good friend, David, who drinks like a half a pot to a pot of coffee every morning and then goes to the gym. No problem. He does it on an empty stomach. And I drink coffee on an empty stomach from time to time as well. But then he comes back from the gym and he takes a big protein shake, which is great. After you work out in the gym, you want to feed the muscles with protein because he wants to build muscle. That's a great idea too. Although he uses peanut protein, which is not going to build muscle. But that's another story, David. Stop the peanut protein. It's actually causing you to gain fat as opposed to muscle. So anybody who's using peanut protein think they're going to gain muscle. It's not. It's actually increasing your ability to produce fat on your body and not muscle. Whey protein and other kinds of protein, vegetable proteins, are better than the peanut protein. Okay. The problem is, because he drank all the coffee in the morning, and anybody who drinks it on an empty stomach, when you have protein, it doesn't absorb. Very small amounts absorb. Therefore, you're not going to build any muscle. So if you want to absorb protein, which means build muscle, which means lose weight. Why? Muscle is what burns fat. So you need to have more muscle mass on your body. And if you do, you become a fat burning machine. The more muscle you have, the more fat you will burn. So if you drink coffee on an empty stomach, the tannic acid mixes with the hydrochloric acid, it lines the stomach. Then throughout the whole day, any protein you eat doesn't absorb. Most of it doesn't absorb. Therefore, you're not feeding the muscle and you can't build muscle, even if you're in the gym every day pumping the iron. You're not going to be building muscle. You're going to be losing muscle. What is the solution? It's simple. All you have to do, everybody, is get a dozen organic free-range eggs. Hard boil them. Put them in the refrigerator. And when you wake up, take one egg and eat it. Then make your coffee. Now drink your coffee and you got no problem. Oh, I don't like eggs. By the way, the reason you want organic free-range eggs, it has more lecithin in it than commercial eggs. Get some roast beef. Have a couple nibbles of roast beef. Have a little smoked salmon. Have any protein first thing before you drink your coffee. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot. That solves the problem. So anybody who's trying to build muscle, and all of you should, because that's going to make you stronger, give you more energy, make you look better in the bathing suit. It's as simple as this trick. This is the coffee hack of the century. First thing, before you drink your coffee, eat some protein. Hard-boiled organic free-range egg, a little organic grass-fed beef like roast beef. That's simple to have in the refrigerator. No deli meats. Pure, beautiful protein. Then drink your coffee. Now, when you have protein, like after your workout and you drink your protein shake, it's going to absorb and you're going to build muscle faster. And if you're not in the gym and you just are a normal person, when you eat protein throughout the day, it's going to absorb. Therefore, your muscles are going to get fed and you're going to keep muscle, stay toned, stay firm, and burn more fat. It's that simple. Now, there's another problem when you drink coffee on an empty stomach, or if you drink coffee, period. Coffee, whether you have protein before you drink it or not, or if you drink it on an empty stomach, will kill the friendly flora in your intestine. So it will kill the good bacteria in your stomach and in your gut. You have to replace it. So the hack here is, before you go to bed, take a good probiotic. What's a good probiotic? There's a lot of companies that make good probiotics. I'll tell you one that I think I'm researching right now. I think it's pretty good. It's very expensive, but I think it's very good. It's called Seed, S-E-E-D. The reason why I think it's really good, it has a double capsule, so it actually breaks down in the intestine and releases the flora there, as opposed to in the stomach where the hydrochloric acid can kill it. I think it's a pretty good one. I'm still researching it. I'm sure there are other good ones out there as well. I usually mix them up. I usually don't stay with one brand. I'll take one brand and another brand. I'll try something else. And I keep always mixing up when I take my probiotics. So you just take that at night. That will repopulate the flora. So super good hack for coffee. All right. Next health miracle. If you want a health miracle. I've been saying this for decades. It's right there. 0-calorie sweetener linked to blood clots and risk of heart disease, study finds. Now, I have talked about artificial sweeteners being really bad for you. Aspartame, which is NutraSweet, sucralose. If you have anything with sucralose in it, or NutraSweet or aspartame, NutraSweet is the brand name for aspartame, throw it away. Stay away from it. It is causing all types of health problems, and most importantly, it's causing brain problems. These are what's called excitotoxins, which mess up the brain and your ability to broadcast and manifest stuff. Plus, it makes you depressed. Plus, it increases your appetite. Plus, it makes you fat. But this study points out that there's something else. Because some people say, Kevin, I'm not going to eat the aspartame and the sucralose or the other type of artificial sweeteners that are out there. I'm going to eat something natural. So I'm going to use stevia or monk fruit. Okay. Consuming stevia and monk fruit more than doubled the risk of blood clots in people. Now, this is the headline, but I've researched this a little bit more. The study, this big study, consisted of 10 people. 10 sick people. 10. And the stevia was not pure organic stevia. It was stevia mixed with all this other crap that you can buy off the shelf from one of the big corporations. It's like a stevia blend. It's not pure stevia. Same thing with the monk fruit. It's a gaffe study. You can't believe unless you dig deep. They took 10 people. And 10. So, what sweetener should you eat? The number one sweetener is organic, raw cane sugar. That's perfect. Another great sweetener is beet sugar, because all around the world for thousands of years, people have taken sugar beets and squeezed it and have sugar. So beet sugar is okay. Another great sweetener is honey. Organic, raw honey, ideally locally produced. One caveat, you don't want to really cook with honey because when you heat it up, it becomes a little bit rancid and it's not the best. So ideally you don't use honey in boiling things or heat. Yes, you can put it in some tea. So you have some warm tea, you can mix it in there, that's fine. Some people mix it in their coffee, that's okay. But you don't want to boil it or ideally cook with it. I know there's some recipes that call for it on occasion, but ideally it's not. You drizzle it on the outside is what honey's used for. Those are really your three best sweeteners. What about stevia? What about monk fruit? The jury is still out. I would suggest organic stevia, organic monk fruit. Use it in moderation. 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 Stick with the big three. Cane sugar, organic raw cane sugar ideally, honey, and organic beet sugar. Those are your best sweeteners. Anything else I would stay away from. And again, monk fruit and stevia, alternatives in moderation. The big thing that's going to happen here is, the thing I think you'll notice the most is your mood. Artificial sweeteners make you depressed and increase your appetite and increase weight gain. So if you start using these sweeteners, you're going to be happier. You're not going to be sad or depressed. You're going to have more energy. You're going to lose weight, and your appetite's going to be normalized. Very important. And I got one more health hack for you. Carbonated anything. Oh, I want some sparkling water. No. Anything that's carbonated. Forget what's in it. That's another question. Carbonation, drinking carbonated anything, suppresses your immune system. Fact, documented, verified, substantiated. For those people who are afraid of catching germs, viruses, whatever, if you're drinking carbonated anything, you are lowering your ability to fight off infection. Carbonated anything, including sparkling water, will suppress your immune system. So the hack, the super health hack, is stay away from anything carbonated. I got one more for you. Water. I was just with a guy. You know, remember when Ron said this? He said, I can't remember the last time I drank water. I'm like, did I just hear that out of my own? The guy's like, what, 70 or 80 years old? He says, I can't remember the last time I drank water. Okay, everybody. You want to be healthy, you want to be happy, you want to have no disease. In my new Natural Cures book, I'm going to make it so ridiculously simple, it's going to be ridiculous. People are going to flip. They're going to go, my God, this is the simplest, right on point. One of the things that'll be in the new book is you must drink at least 8 glasses of pure water every day. Let me define what pure water is. Pure water has nothing in it except water. Ideally, spring water. Second best is reverse osmosis filtered water. Water, not distilled water. Water, not water with added minerals. So you stay away from the Pepsi water and the Coca-Cola water, Dasani and Aquafina, for example. Ideally, pure spring water with nothing added. There's a lot of them around. Evian is still a great water. Pana from Italy is a great water. There's water from all across America. There's water from all over the world. There's a great water called Lithia water, which comes out of Georgia, which is loaded with minerals, including a lot of lithium, which is amazing for your health. There's a lot of spring waters. 8 glasses of pure water. If you mix anything in the water, it's no longer water. If you put a little lemon in there, it's not water. If you make tea with the water, it's not water. If you make coffee with the water, it's not water. Drinking juice is not water. Water is water. Without water, you have big problems. Your body is 70% water. Water is brain food. If you want your brain to operate and function, first thing in the morning, 8 ounce to 16 ounces of water, pound it down as soon as you wake up. If you're a coffee drinker, fine, drink the coffee later, but you got to put water in your body first. Especially if you drink coffee, coffee dehydrates you, which means 8 glasses of water minimum. If you're drinking a lot of coffee, you should be drinking almost a gallon of water a day. Your whole life will change. Pain will go away. There was a guy named Dr. Daryl Stoddard he worked with 30,000 chronic pain patients. And he found that most of them were dehydrated. And just by giving them water, when they got hydrated, all of a sudden pain went away. Joint pain went away. Back pain went away. Headaches went away. It's all caused by dehydration. So I'll talk more about this in the future, but next health hack is drink minimum 8 glasses of pure water a day, 1 to 2 of those first thing in the morning, drink it throughout the day, up to a gallon a day, depending on your body weight. If you're drinking coffee, that dehydrates you. If you drink alcohol, that dehydrates you. You need to drink more. And if you do, within 2 weeks, you will start feeling a huge difference. Now, initially, you're going to start peeing a lot more. After about 2 weeks, your body will normalize and you'll be back to normal. I drink tons of water and I don't get up in the middle of the night and pee. So there's a lot here, but you will start feeling better. All right, last thing on today's show is this. I am doing a seminar with the Global Information Network November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the Parma House Hotel in Chicago. It's a seminar that we should charge $15,000 for each ticket. There will be 7 multimillionaires there. It is going to be a success seminar unlike anything we've ever done. It's almost 2/3 sold out. Almost 2/3 sold out. If you want to go, I will give you a free ticket. All you have to do is join the Global Information Network for $38. You can come in live and physically be there. If you can't fly in, you can get a virtual ticket free and watch the whole thing virtually. And based on the time zone, if you can't watch the whole thing live, it will be recorded and you'll get the recording of the whole event. This is going to be amazing. I got a short video, it's only a minute and a half, to show you a little preview of this event. Let me show you that video here. There's a saying. You choose your friends, but you don't choose your family. This event coming up in the fall in Chicago at the beautiful Parma House Hotel, magnificent. I'm going to give you a free ticket to that event. It's going to have Global Information Network members from around the world. There'll be millionaires in the room, incredibly successful people, motivated people, inspired people, driven people, happy people, people that want more out of life, people with high vibrational frequency. Speaking at that event will be seven multi-millionaires. It is going to blow you away. You're going to be getting more success information from people that have actually done it, people that started from zero and have turned their life into multi-millionaire status, that have what you want and have been where you are. I am going to be personally hosting the event, which means I'm going to be on stage right from the opening moment until the end. And I'll be doing training as well. And I'll be in the audience doing my energy work as well. It is going to be awesome. Join the club and you get a free virtual ticket, which means in the comfort of your own home, and you can watch the entire event. It is going to be awesome. I'll tell you what, you want to be at this event. If you want success in life, if you want more things out of life, if you want to become successful in every aspect of your life, join our club, the Global Information Network. It's only $38, and then immediately register for this event, either live and in person, you get a free ticket, or you register and get your free virtual ticket. You do not want to miss this. It will sell out, and it's going to sell out very, very quickly. 2/3 of the seats are already gone. So this is probably going to sell out, I don't know, in the next few days, next few weeks, it's going to sell out fast. So take advantage of it. Join our club. It'll be spectacular. I'm Kevin Trudeau. Remember, in every adversity are the seeds of a greater benefit. Just believe. Have faith and believe. And all things are possible for those who believe. God loves you, everybody, and so do I. Until next time, I'm Kevin Trudeau. We'll see you at the top.